I saw something, so I gotta say something. What is this? Key and Peele on Comedy Central 4 years ago. I remember this bar mitzvah skit that they did. Key and Peele did with these Amalekites, these fake Jews, and it was a mockery about the so-called blacks, my people, not being the chosen of the Bible. And in 2023, there's a lot of rhetoric in regards to who the true Jews or the Israelites of the Bible are. And I have a couple of things to bring out, a couple of scriptures, and also a video from this Amalekite, Judith Shorer, from this, I think it was a conference, a council meeting or conference meeting with a few other individuals, and she starts making references to the so-called black community, and she says things like the so-called black leaders, which according to the true people of God, the Israelites, we know that those black, so-called black preachers and so-called black community leaders are actually angels of Satan. These black leaders speak in regards to the so-called whites, the Edomites. They speak, I don't know, I don't want to say they speak highly, but they speak as if they're aligned or in alliance with these Edomites and these Amalekites, these fake Jews. So I remember this skit from 4 years ago, and I want to allow it to be played, and I'm going to go ahead and bring out a couple of scriptures, and then I'm going to play this footage of this Judith Shore, this Edomite. I think I know she's an Amalekite, but yeah, she's an Edomite at the end of the day. Amalek is the chief tribe of Edom that these so-called Americans are funding their country and protecting this lie of them being the chosen people, when we know that the Israelis, they entered that land of Israel in 1948 after the Balfour Agreement. So I'm gonna let this play real quick and allow this mockery to come out. This is for edification, but the truth has to come out, you know. So let me let this play real quick and watch how Key and Peele are being paid to make mockery of their own people by these Amalekites. All right. So just listen to this and listen to how Key and Peele make jokes about their true identity.
Really? But we were black people.
Okay, so they say that it's better to not be the chosen. So, like I said, I remember this from 4 years ago, and I've been meaning to touch on this, but I've been pulling out some other edifications. But this is Isaiah 4:1, and this is Yahweh prophesying about Jacob. he says, "Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel," because Jacob's name was changed to Israel after he wrestled with the angel, whom I have chosen. Okay, so the scripture plainly states that the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are the chosen. Okay. 2. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the power that made thee. Okay, because this is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians Bible. The God of the Bible is the God of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians that these colonizers, these Edomites, convinced our people to not serve, again, to not keep the commandments of our God during slavery. I recall the Europeans forcing my people, my forefathers, forcing them to disassociate themselves with their God. So I always wondered, before I came into this truth, who was our God as a people. And upon research and study, the God of my people, the so-called Negroes, is the God of the Bible, Yahweh, and his son Yahweh Shai is the king, was referred to as the king of the Jews by the Romans. And I've come into this truth and realized that, and I'll die for this truth. I just have to edify whosoever is seeking the truth. I have to do this. So, thus saith the Lord Yahweh that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. Okay. 3. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, like myself, and floods upon the dry ground. Okay, being the flesh, the mind. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed and my blessing upon thy offspring. Okay. And they shall spring up as among the grass, talking about the people that he's chosen, the seed, as willows by the water courses. 5. One shall say, talking about the people, one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob. So this is a prophecy that when the people shall wake up to who they truly are, that person will not be alone. I am not alone. Once I came into this truth, I gathered amongst my people who understand who they truly are. And I recall having a dream, and I heard a voice in my dream that said, you no longer have to accept your people for who they're not. And that was an epiphany for me. So I felt very empowered. I felt empowered when I woke up out that sleep. And I recall those words to this day in 2023. And I heard those words back in like 2017 or something like that. And it just dawned on me in my sleep and when I woke up that this spirit entered me, and I became knowledgeable and wise and aware. And it gave me this watchman type of energy and insight. Okay, and foresight. Okay, so let me continue. I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. So not knowing who we are and returning back to who we are and having knowledge of who we are, we won't be alone on this, and we'll notice that another so-called Black, Latino, Native Indian will call themselves by the name of Israel. Okay. 6. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. I am the first and I am the last, and besides me there is no God. Okay. 7. And who as I shall call and shall declare it, and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people. So, and the things that are coming and shall come, let them show unto them. Okay. Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from that time, and have declared it? Okay, and yes, he did. Ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? No, there isn't. The God of this current world is Satan, and the so-called whites are the deceivers. They are the children of Satan. They're deceiving the minds of the people through their religions. That's why I say to hell with Jesus and to heaven with Yahweh Shai, because the church is actually doing the crafty work of capturing the minds of the people and deceiving them. The religion was the instrument used on my foreparents in slavery, and the so-called whites were the ones deceiving the minds of the people, which are the hearts. Okay, and that's why I don't. My God, the God of the Bible, is going to condemn and destroy all religions and graven images. Christianity is just idol worshipers, and they're going to be destroyed in their last days. Okay, let me continue. Ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. Okay, now 9. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. Talking about these heathens, these Gentiles, and these Edomites and these Amalekites. And they are their own witnesses. They see not, nor know, that they may be ashamed. Okay. 10. Who hath formed a god or molten graven image that is profitable for nothing? Well, the heathens. That's who. Okay. Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen they are of men. Okay. Let them all be gathered together, let them stand up, yet they shall fear, and they shall be ashamed together. So the so-called white man didn't just lie to my people, the so-called Negroes. And not only did they lie to my people, but they lied to the so-called Latinos and the Native Indians as well. And they also lied to their own people, the children, their children, the younger whites, who still only understand the doctrine of their forefathers, which are liars. That's why they don't even understand who the true people are. And they believe in the doctrine of men that tells them that the Jewish man is the real Jew, or the chosen of the Bible. Okay. Of course, they follow the Talmud, which is the Babylonian Bible, and that's just an extension of white supremacy. But let me let this play out a little bit more, and I'm gonna go into something else and make this a very short video.
It's just magical, really. Is he getting back up or what?
We're not technically chosen.
We're chosen by the chosen.
Which is kind of better than being just the chosen.
That's right. It's less responsibility.
Jews are like black people, but we were black people before there were black people. Well, I guess that's not true. They were just in a different part of the world.
See, now he was about to say, well, that's not true, because he was making a joke. And he was about to say, well, that's not true. We are not the we were not black before they were black because I guess they were scattered. See, what he was about to say is I guess they were scattered. Okay. So we know that from knowledge now, from the Spirit being poured over us, like the scripture said, that we are now awakening to who we are. Okay. And I'm gonna put up an image on here from the movie with Nat Turner, where the Edomite, the slave master's wife, didn't want Nat Turner to reach for the Bible because she knew that if Nat Turner would have learned how to read and interpret, if he would have laid his spirit on that Bible, then he would have been able to interpret what it was really saying, and he would have eventually awakened the slaves and explained to them, like Moses, who they really are. Okay, so I want to play something else. Now this is a 2016 IAC National Conference, and we have this Amalekite, this Israeli woman, who is going to admit who the biggest problems are, and it's not the Hamas people that are dropping bombs and invading their country at the moment. Okay, she's gonna have something to say. So let me find this real quick.
Welcome everybody. My name is Ruben.
As an LGBT activist, but we
the major community which causes us some problems is the black community. What we are doing is, Ruben asked me to focus on that, is basically it starts with engagement. We are not too big of a country.
See now, she just admitted this is the Judith Shorer, Shorer, Israeli. She's saying that the biggest threat is the so-called black community. The biggest threat to the Jewish community is the so-called black community. Not Hamas, not the war that they're engaging themselves in. So it dawns on the minds or the hearts of a few people. There's a few people that are Israelis and Edomites, so-called whites, that heard what she said, and they themselves have exposed what she's saying. Because they're like, why is she saying that the so-called black community is the biggest problem or the biggest threat? So if you listen to her continue on, she's going to speak and say that one way to kind of mitigate or neutralize the so-called black community from being a threat to the Jewish community is by using what we Israelites refer to as the angels of Satan. She's going to make references to the so-called black community leaders, which are not leaders, they're just angels of Satan, because to the so-called white community, these so-called black community leaders that are religious are considered their angels, okay? Because they protect the lie, and they keep the minds of the blacks, the so-called blacks, the Israelites and the Latinos and Native Indians. They keep the minds of them in a deep sleep. Okay, they keep our people asleep. Okay, so she's going to make a reference as to how they can continue to neutralize this, what they refer to as a threat to the so-called Jewish community. So let's listen to this, and then I got one more scripture to bring out, and then I'm gonna go ahead and and bow out.
But we are very strong. Engagement means I had last week a dinner, sit-down dinner at my house for 40 people, which are considered the leadership of the black community, academic, politics, police, airport, mayor's office, very many.
Excuse me, had a technical difficulty real quick, but what she's going down her list of people that came to her house, and she was communicating to these so-called black community leaders, and she was asking for their help in keeping the minds of the so-called blacks, my people, keeping their minds in that deep sleep. And watch what she says.
Very important people. I don't suggest that they are the people who can go to the Black Lives Matters, or they are the Black Lives Matters, but they can approach those people. They can be part of our doing and activities. We meet.
See that? So she says that she wants to use these so-called black leaders, which are sellouts and coons. That was what we call them, but the scripture refers to them as angels of Satan. So she wants to empower these so-called black community leaders into keeping the minds of the so-called blacks in a deep sleep. She wants to empower them to help the so-called whites with keeping the so-called black community sleep. Okay, so let's let her continue.
Floor to Robin.
Great, thank you, Vane. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I'll give a quick overview of what AJC's Project Interchange is.
Okay, so let me find this scripture real quick. Okay, this is Revelations 12 and 7, and this is speaking about the so-called whites going to war with who they ignorantly call Jesus. This is a future prophecy that hasn't taken place yet, and this is making reference to the dragon, and the dragon is the so-called whites, and it says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. See, the dragon and his angels, the angels of the dragon are these so-called black community leaders that run these religious churches. They are angels to the so-called whites. They will be their angels, keeping our people in that sunken place, keeping them in that deep sleep. Your TD Jakes, your Creflo Dollars, and all of your, Bishop Eddie Longs and all of them. They're actually not teaching the truth. They're teaching the same doctrine that was used by the slave masters on the minds of the slaves, okay? So it says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. Okay? So this is those so-called black leaders in the churches. If you go into these churches and challenge what they teach with the scripture, they're going to kick you out. ban you from their property, and they're not going to want to deal with the truth. 9, and the great dragon was cast out. This is a future prophecy. The dragon is the so-called whites. Cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels, which are these black leaders, these so-called black community leaders, and the so-called whites that's helping deceive our people with religion. And his angels were cast out with him. Okay? That's what this is saying. Okay? And let's say until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Okay. Let's say KJV. Okay. So it says we're going to 21 and 24, but we're going to start at, let's start at, let me see. 21 and 24, we're going to start at 21 and 23. 21 and 24, 21 and 23. Here it is. Let's go to 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. This is a future prophecy. But woe, which is, woe means destruction, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people, talking about the land of Israel, okay? And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, talking about those Israelis over there, those Amalekites, which are from all other nations, Poland, Ukraine, Europe, okay, Khazarians and Ashkenazis, okay, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, which is currently being trodden down by the Gentiles, okay? And this is why that woman, Judith Shore, referred to the so-called black community as being a threat to the Jewish community, because we are waking up to this truth, that they are not the real Jews and they're not the chosen people. I never believed that they were the chosen people anyway. It just doesn't make sense. That the movies that they make about them being like the movie The Ten Commandments or the gods of Egypt, it just didn't make sense to me that they were playing both sides of the Bible. They were the Romans, they claimed to be the Romans, and they claimed to be the Jews. They claimed to be Christ, and they claimed to be the accusers. It just didn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to think that they were in Africa building pyramids with under the rulership of the Egyptians. It didn't make sense to me that they were claiming to be the people going through all these captivities, and they were so-called pale. They wouldn't have survived in all this damn heat. Just didn't make sense to me. So it says, and to all nations Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Okay. And there shall be a sign in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, which perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Okay, so that's what those people over there, according to verse 24, are the Gentiles trotting down the nation. And this is a prophecy that the time of the Gentiles has to be fulfilled, and we're starting to see that their time is almost fulfilled. Okay. So again, when I came across this bar mitzvah 4 years ago, it just didn't make sense to me, and they were making mockery of it. And Key and Peele are joining in the mockery to make $1. But these are the things and the tactics that these so-called Jews do to protect their lie. and the position that they're in. You know, this is what they get for trying to be us. This is what they get for trying to hijack our culture and trying to hijack our land. These wars are going to, be totally about the so-called blacks, just like these movies, Planet of the Apes. The apes were the so-called blacks, Latinos and Native Indians being in captivity under these Romans and these Greeks, which are the Edomites. All right. So this is why the so-called blacks, my people, are considered a threat to them. When we're not physically doing anything to them, we're not being violent with them, we're not dropping bombs on them, okay? We're just coming into this truth. So hopefully this has been edifying for somebody, because I know that all of my subscribers are not biblical. All right, I make a lot of shorts. I do some I make videos. I drop shorts and I pull little things, but I usually put scripture with it. But me being an Israelite and my people coming into this truth and waking up, it's not a game. It's not funny, and this channel is for edification. And I just, like I said, I tie scripture into what I'm posting, so that I'm just not influencing viewers negatively. All right, my channel is for edification, and it's to push this truth. All right, we got the Feast of Dedications coming up, so you brothers and sisters, if you're one of my viewers, make sure you get with some Israelites that are keeping the commandments, and you celebrate these high holy days, and unsubscribe from paganism, Christmas and Black Friday and Halloween and all of these pagan holidays. Unsubscribe from those holidays and start keeping your high holy days, okay? That's a part of the law, to gather amongst your people and to conduct these ceremonies and to have these feasts according to the scripture. All right. So I wanna say shalom, and peace be unto you and yours, and stay into this truth and keep the laws and commandments, the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your abilities. If you haven't repented already, then pray for the Spirit to come over you, so you can fight these curses and the ways of man. All right. Shalom.